Hi, boys and girls. It's Miss Elliott again. We are going to be finishing our My Monster writing today. So the other day we read I Need My Monster, and then we started to come up with different things about our monster. So my monster is, my monster has, and my monster can. Hopefully you were able to come up with at least 4 or 5 different ones for each category here. So for mine, I did my monster is scary, funny, and silly, and those were just examples. For my monster has, you could have fur, claws, green ooze, one eye. You could have just tons of different things about your monster. And then what your monster can do. So if your monster was scary, maybe your monster can scratch. If your monster was funny, maybe it can tell jokes. Maybe if your monster was silly, it can run in a silly way. So now what we're going to do is we are going to turn these different words into sentences. So let me show you how that's going to work. So you're going to need your other My Monster page that looks like this so that you're able to write your sentences. So I'm going to take this first paper and I'm going to pick that my monster is scary. And I'm going to say it has claws, fur, and one eye. And I'm also going to say my monster can scratch. Okay, so how I can turn these into sentences is you can start each of your sentences with my monster is, has, or can. So my first sentence might look like this. Make sure we're using capital letters. My first word would be my, finger space, monster, and our first category is. So my monster is, and I'm going to pick scary. When you're done with that first sentence, you're going to make sure that you put period at the end so that we can finish off our sentence. Okay? Now, I'm going to go over to my next one. You will probably have a couple more here, but I'm just showing you an example for each one. So now I want to talk about my monster has. So again, I'm going to start my sentence with capital letter, finger spacing, my monster. And now I'm using the word has. I'm going to say my monster has claws. And then I'm going to put a period. And then I'm also going to say in that same one, I'm going to say my monster, capital M, my monster has fur. So now I know that my monster is scary. I know my monster has claws. My monster has fur. Now I need to talk about what my monster can do. So I picked that I had a scary monster, so I'm going to say my monster can scratch. And you could think about, if you picked that your monster was scary, you could think about what else your monster can do if it's scary. Maybe you can say, my monster can scare people. So capital letters at the beginning. Make sure we have our finger spacing. My monster can scare people. Now, you should probably have a little more sentences than me, just because, like I said, you want to have at least 4 or 5 for each of these so that you can write a sentence. And then if you want to, at the very end of your story about your monster, you can tell us what your monster's name is. If you want to come up with a name, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But I'm going to go ahead and say, my monster. I'm going to say monsters. Name is. Now I have a scary monster that has claws. But I'm just going to say my monster's name is Boo, because it yells boo to scare people. You could come up with any name that you want to, though, for your monster. And then once you have all of your sentences, you're going to write who this story about their monster is by. So I'm going to write my name, Miss Elliott. So we just want you to be creative with your writing. We want you to have fun with it and show us how you could come up with a story about your monster. And then if you want to make things a little more fun, you can always turn your paper over to the other side when you're done, and you can draw and color a picture of your monster. So however you described it on this side, make sure that you use those different things for your pictures on the back. All right, thank you.